Alright, so yesterday we talked about the couple different things that you need to do when you're factoring. For instance, you need to one, factor out the GCF. What is going on with my... You need to factor out the GCF. Two, you need to factor out the GCF. You look for special factors. And then three, you need to factor normally. We've already looked at factoring out the GCF, and we've looked at looking for special factors. The only thing we haven't done yet is how do we factor normally. Alright, so there's going to be a couple of cases for factoring normally. And what we're going to be looking at to factor normally are going to be trinomials in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. They'll be trinomials. They're going to have a squared term, an x term, and a constant term. Alright, and there's two cases for this. There's the case where a is equal to 1, so the coefficient of the x squared is 1, and then there's everything else when a is not equal to 1. And what we're going to look at first is when a is equal to 1. So when it's basically just x squared plus bx plus c. Alright, so first we're looking at when a is equal to 1. So first you write it in standard form. You factor out the GCF other than 1. So of course if the first term is negative, you factor out a negative number. You multiply a and c together. Of course, a in this case is going to be 1, so it's just going to be c. And then you find the factors of a times c, whose sum, when you add them together, is b. Alright, so, and then we're skipping the fifth step because we're not factoring by grouping, because we're looking at when a is 1. So for now, we're skipping the fifth step. So we're checking the distributive property to check our answer. Let's see what this looks like. So for number 1, and the way I usually do this is with a cross, like this. And I have 4 things to fill out in the cross. In the top of the cross, I'm going to put a times c, whatever a times c is. In the bottom of the cross, I'm going to put b. And then in the left and right, I'm going to put the numbers, the factors of a times c that add to b. Okay, so I'm looking for factors of a times c, so things that multiply to give me a times c, that also add to give me the b term. Alright, keep in mind in all of these cases the a is 1, so in this it's just going to be the c term. So up top, a times c, that's 20. 1 times 20 is 20. And the bottom is 9. And then the factors that multiply to 20 and add to 9 would be 5 and 4. 5 times 4 is 20. And 5 plus 4 is 9. So what this is going to tell me is that my two factors are going to be, so positive 5 and positive 4. So my two factors are going to be x plus 5 and x plus 4. So x squared plus 9x plus 20 factors into x plus 5 times x plus 4. And I can distribute this to double check. X times x is x squared, and then plus 4x plus 5x plus 20. and that simplifies to x squared plus 9x plus 20. So this is my factored form. Number 2, make my cross, a times c in the top, b in the bottom, multiply, add. I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 12 and add to negative 7. I'm actually looking for two negatives here because they got to multiply to 12 and add to negative 7. So I'm looking for negative 3 and negative 4. Negative 3 times negative 4 is 12. Negative 3 plus negative 4 is negative 7. So my two factors are going to be x minus 3 and x minus 4. And of course you can distribute this to double check. X squared minus 4x minus 3x plus 12, which is x squared minus 7x plus 12. Number 3, so a times c, so in the top that's negative 18, in the bottom positive 3. And we're looking for numbers that multiply to this and add to this, and that's a positive 3. So what we're looking at here is positive 6 and negative 3. Positive 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. Positive 6 times, plus negative 3 is positive 3. So my two factors would be x plus 6 is my first factor. X minus 3 is my second factor. Of course, you can check this. X squared minus 3x plus 6x minus 18. Number 4, negative 30 in the top, negative 1 in the bottom. I want them to multiply to negative 30 and add to negative 1. Their sum needs to be negative 1. So I'm looking here, negative 6 and positive 5. Negative 6 plus 5 is negative 1. Negative 6 times 5 is negative 30. So my two factors will be x minus 6 and x plus 5. Of course, I just want to remind everybody that even though the first steps said to put it in standard form and to factor out the GCF, every single one of these had a GCF of 1. So I didn't have to factor anything out for any of these because they all had a positive first term and they all had a GCF of 1. So I could skip those first couple of steps because they didn't need to be done. All right. Now if we look at number 5, and we look at the GCF of number 5, this one actually does need to be done, because even though the GCF of these is 1, the first term is a negative, so the GCF is negative 1. So that means I need to factor out negative 1, and then get a new polynomial, x squared minus 4x minus 12. And then I'm going to factor the new trinomial, x squared minus 4x minus 12, the way that I just did all the other ones. So c, and then a times c up top, so that's 1 times negative 12, so negative 12 up top, negative 4 in the bottom. I'm looking for the two numbers that multiply to negative 12 and add to negative 4. It's negative 6 and positive 2. Negative 6 times positive 2 is negative 12. Negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4. So the factors, and don't forget about the negative 1, it's still there. So negative 1, and the two factors, x minus 6, x plus 2. Now number 6, we see there is a GCF here. All right, 2, 26, and 96. This is 2. So we do need to factor out the 2 before we try to factor normally. So that gives me x squared plus 13x minus 48. And now I can do the cross, and I'm looking for negative 48 on top and 13 on the bottom. So two numbers that multiply to negative 48 and add to 13. So that's going to be 16 and 3, so it's positive 16 and negative 3. Multiply these to get negative 48, you add these to get 13. So that's going to tell me that it's going to factor to x plus 16, x minus 3. Number 7, we have a GCF here. The GCF of number 7, it would be 3, but the first term is negative, so it's negative 3. So if we factor out a negative 3, we're left with x squared minus 5x minus 6. And then we can factor this trinomial, x squared minus 5x minus 6, so multiply, add. Alright, so negative 6 in the top, negative 5 in the bottom. So two numbers that multiply to negative 6 and add to negative 5. It's going to be negative 6 and positive 1. Those multiply to negative 6 and they add to negative 5. So we still have the negative 3, and then this factors into x minus 6, x plus 1. Alright, number 8. The GCF is 1, so we don't need to factor that out. Multiply up top, add in the bottom. Up top we have 9, the bottom we have 6. Positive 9 and positive 6. It's always good to put the signs here. So positive 9, positive 6. So what we're looking at is positive 3 and positive 3. 3 plus 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. So what this factors into is x plus 3 times x plus 3. But we wouldn't leave it like this because it's the same thing multiplied twice, and we have a symbol for that. We would write x plus 3 squared. Because this is x plus 3 multiplied by itself 2 times. So x plus 3 squared. Alright, so the homework is the factoring sheet for when a is equal to 1. Make sure that's added there because we're only doing the ones where a is 1. Numbers 1 through 20